Hi everyone, David here from Kinetica. So today I would like to touch a topic that I guess every one of us has thought about automating already at some point, is answering all these emails and Slack messages that come through to us on a daily basis, right? So this is like a very typical initial one, but it is a bit trickier than I think many people think if you want to really execute it well. There are tools, there's SaaS tools out there that do this, but to be honest, I think right these days now with Claude Code, it's really not necessary to pay a SaaS tool for this. So I just wanted to show you how we can build this in Claude Code. There are a few things we have to think about here when we build these routines. So in general, so when I want to have my email and my Slack messages, the answers automated on a daily basis, we do this in three different skills. And they run in there's this one routine skill, and then there's one initiate skill and one maintain skill, right? So let's take a look at this. This is here right now the skill library that we have at Kinetica. And so the initiate one, what does it do? First of all, so this is something that we've built like for me and Matteo, because Matteo, my business partner here at Kinetica, and because we are getting constant communication like the most in the company. So the idea is, so first of all, we need to have the connectors, obviously like Gmail and the Slack connectors, they have to be there in Claude in order to make this possible. Then you have to think about, okay, you want this skill to understand how do you answer, how do you speak to speak in your language. And so this is done now in two ways. One, when we have the initiate skill, then we run this, and this analyzes the last 50 emails and the last 50 Slack messages that we have written. And based on this, it creates like a knowledge file. And in this knowledge file, it has the memory and the understanding of it. So this is one way. But it also learns on every time it does it, because the way how it works is like it creates a draft, like an email draft or a Slack draft, and then I adapt it, I change it, and I send it out. And then the next time the skill runs, the next time like this routine runs and creates these automated drafts, it looks at what I have changed, puts this also into the memory, learns from it, and adapts it for the next time. So every time knows better basically how to write the Slack messages and the emails. We have set it up like on three times per day, at 8 a.m., at 9 p.m. Actually, Matteo, he wanted it to have it even more often, right? So he had like two more times in the day. And it always does this, right? So it looks at all the messages and all the Slack messages, all the emails that are unanswered. It creates drafts, puts the draft there, and then also writes the draft into the memory file. And then after I changed it and adapted it, the next time when it runs it, it checks what are the changes and then puts it back into the memory file, right? So these are like the things that are a little bit tricky here to think about. Another thing that is tricky is, so we have the style analysis here, right? So that I mentioned, the signature. This is actually a little bit tricky if you have a signature which is images inside, because when Claude creates a draft, it doesn't per default put a signature in. Normally, when I'm on Gmail and I create an email, I answer, then it put my signature. Here, it doesn't do it. So we have to put the signature in HTML format into this skill. And we do this here in this initiate skill, right? So we have this initiate skill that reads all your old emails, gets the understanding, creates a signature, and sets up the routines, right? These three routines that run every day. A thing here also that is interesting is we had the setup of the routines already half a year ago or something. I think Claude came up with it. The problem at the beginning was that it was just running when the computer is on. And this, of course, doesn't really help very much, right? Because the problem here is when we have it set up in this way, then we always need to have the computer on in order to run it. And actually, like when I at that time was setting up routines, they often would break. They would then rerun when the computer is on again, but they would still break, right? But nowadays it works, and that's actually great. And this is, so instead of a complex N8N flow or make flow that you could also do, it's much simpler in Claude, right? So you just go to Claude Code, you just say basically that you want to build a routine, and it will set up the routine in a specific time and just run it no matter if your computer is on or not. So when we initiate, we have to think about the signature, we have to think about the style and about the learning mechanism, right? So these are like the important things. And so this is why we have initiate. And then we have the running one. And the running one actually does exactly what I'm just saying, right? So the run skill runs first learns from the old drafts, right? So this is what I mentioned, right? It learns from what I changed in the old ones, and then it drafts new ones, right? And yeah, exactly. It gets all the input here, and then it creates this, right? This is partially, of course, individualized for us here, for the way how we run things when it comes to our folder structure, etc. In your case, it might look different, but in any case, you need this running skill. You need to initiate to set this up, and maintenance. And maintenance is like somebody can run the maintenance skill and then say, well, I don't want to run it just 3 times a day. I want to run it 5 times a day. I want to change this. I want to change that, right? Then this skill will be able to do this because it knows where it runs. It knows all the configurations and can adapt it. Honestly, if you really want to have it super simple, you could also just have one skill that runs 3 times a day or however you want to set it up. And next to the skill, you put a folder, which you call memory, and there it puts the learnings in from the initial time and also from all the other times. And this way, you don't actually need the initiate and the maintenance one. It helps us because it makes it a bit more solid, and also because we are not running this out just for us, for ourselves, but also for our clients, right? So yeah, if you're interested to receive the skills, I'm happy to send them over. Send me a DM here on LinkedIn. I can send you the files that we have. Feel free to implement them. If you have any questions, if something doesn't work the way it should work, or you would like to do it differently, let me know. Happy to help you out here. So hope this was helpful for one or the other. And yeah, wish you a fantastic day. All the best. Bye.